Just explain to me what is a central bank digital currency?
Sure. I mean, there's the propaganda version they'll give you is that it's a form of digital money that you can use where there's no cash and it's really convenient and it's really cheap and it's really easy. What central bank digital currency really is it's digital money that's programmable, that can be monitored by the government and can be censored by the government. So in other words, this is something where, now imagine a society where you no longer have cash and literally every exchange that you do is monitored by the government. If you've ever had a health savings account, health savings accounts are usually, debit cards that you can use only to buy certain healthcare related items that are already on a list. Well, imagine if all of money works like this. So the government decides even what you can buy. So you can only use your programmable money to buy things that the government decides that they want you to buy.
I'm aware of a system that's functioning for millions of people that works exactly this way. And this is, the WeChat, digital yuan in China. It's a CBDC, it's functioning, and it works exactly that way. For example, people can't buy a train ticket if they don't have a green light on their vaccine passport, which is, of course, all integrated. Right? I know of multiple individual instances of this sort of thing, and the whole system is structured like that. That's just one example.
Well, so the reason that I'm focused on CBDC, and as somebody that's a proponent of liberty and has moved to a state for liberty, I see central bank digital currency as the single biggest threat to human liberty, and it is the gateway to everything that you just described. Because once your money can be controlled and censored and monitored by the government, then that is what ties into social credit systems, vaccine passports, digital IDs, and that is in fact the plan. This is something that's actually been worked on. We're 50 years into a plan to push for a one world global technocratic form of government with this level of top-down control.
A big statement here, big assertion. I'm going to get you to explain to me why you think that, okay? Just going back to CBDCs for a second, would you call something like what you just described a currency? Because a currency, I think of, a dollar, and I can give it to you. It's anonymous. I mean, I gave it to you, but largely, I can go, I tend to use cash myself and whenever I can, because I don't want I don't want to be tracked in everything I do, even with a credit card, which is already the case, right?
Yeah, I'd say it's more of a control system than a currency. I mean, in no sense is it actually a currency based on any traditional understanding of what a currency is. Because some of the things that they're programming into these central bank digital currencies includes things like if they want to stimulate the economy, then they'll tell you if you don't spend the CBDC that you have in your wallet, they'll just simply take it away. So you have no ownership or no actual custody of this. This is just ones and zeros on a ledger somewhere that you have no control over one way or the other.
Ultimately, the government will be able to decide whether you have it or not, and without recourse. I mean, that's what you're suggesting.
Yes.
Right.
I mean, you can see they've even put this idea they've put into EU legislation regarding digital currency. I mean, and we saw several years back, Cyprus actually did what's called a bail-in, where the financial system wasn't working well, so that they just took a percentage of all of their customers' deposits. So, hey, you're helping us with a bail-in that you weren't really giving an option. So that's worked its way into the legislation, into the framework of actually how CBDC works. So, but it's the ideology that pushes this, because the question you ask is, well, why are they doing this? Why are they implementing the CBDC? And it really truly is because the viewpoint on this is that we should be living in a technocracy, which is a form of government where elites pick scientists and engineers to make the best decisions for everybody from the top down. It's not a system that values rights. It's not a system that values individual rights or property rights. It's a system that says we're going to have the smartest people telling you how you can live your life, what foods you can buy, how you should spend your money, when you should spend your money. And it's done under the guise of we're going to perfect humanity by applying technology to humans using the best minds that we can come up with.
Well, I expect, and this is the simplistic things people will say to sell this is, of course, hey, listen, look at how much control look how much fraud there is. Look how much control we'll have over that. Like, we'll be able to see that. We'll be able to prevent fraud. A very powerful tool, very attractive. Right? My point, would that be beneficial? probably yes. Is there some sort of cost-benefit analysis here to be done around CBDCs, or is your position it's all cost?
Well, it's all cost because you understand that it's all part of a control system. You understand that at some level, the reason that they're actually doing this versus the reason that they're going to roll it out, they do this. This is part of the rollout of a technocratic system where they track everything. This is what's motivating it. Regardless of what they say when they sell the individual CBDC, if you look at what's been going on, going all the way back to 2000, they've been putting in tracking systems through the Patriot Act. Every day in America, there are 100,000 surveillance cameras installed. So between now and the next election, there are going to be another 40 million surveillance cameras installed. Our pictures are taken 75 times a day. This is in the United States. The China system tracks, they have 626 million surveillance cameras. They'll track every aspect of your day. If you cheat in a video game, you'll get punished. If you don't visit your elderly parents enough, you'll get punished. They're tracking what you're putting in your shopping cart at the store and not buying. Literally everything is tracked.
And also, as I understand it, they're using, for example, gait to personalize, like the cameras can kind of identify who you are based on your gait, based on the way you move. It's individualized. So this is a highly personalized surveillance system, even if your face is covered or something like that.
And this has been the intent going all the way back since 1974. The idea of being able to track, monitor, and surveil every personal level of detail.
When is the moment where when the light bulb went off and you're like, oh wow, there is some sort of serious move towards global government here? The reason I mention this is because this isn't something that most people, I think, today accept.
Most people don't, and a lot of this is new to me, just over the life. I will track down and figure out what happened. I just keep asking questions. That's what I've always done. So even going back to, okay, well, why did they implement Obamacare? How did all that work? I mean, that kind of even led to this. I just keep asking questions. And so part of this is having been in cryptocurrency and knowing what an innovation that is. Some of it, I mean, to be clear, most of the cryptocurrency projects are actually scams. I mean, there are only like a half a dozen projects out of 20,000 that are suitable replacements for money. But living that for 10 years and then seeing that basically CBDCs are the antithesis of that. So a cryptocurrency like Bitcoin is decentralized. It actually allows for this invention of the separation of money and state. CBDCs are the exact opposite of that. It's a more centralized currency with complete control, complete programmability. So I just started looking at, well, who are the people that are behind this? Who's pushing CBDC? So to start, I didn't necessarily think that this was a one world global conspiracy. In 2020, I believe there were maybe 20 countries globally that were even exploring CBDCs. And so at that point, just 3 years ago, nobody was implementing a CBDC. They were just saying, hey, maybe this is something we should look into.
Well, aside from communist China, I'll mention, because that was very much exactly according to their plan. I happen to know that trajectory, right?
That's true. 2014 is when China actually started the exploration of it.
But free countries, I think you mean, right? Free countries weren't thinking about this.
No,
right?
free countries weren't thinking about this. So we're talking about 20 countries looking at, exploring in 2020. It's now 2023, 130 countries are exploring CBDC. 20 countries will have implemented a CBDC by the end of this year, and over 1 billion people on this planet will be using CBDCs by the end of this year.